We all have books that we think are too large or too complicated to read, and we used to start and break reading them again and again. For someone, it's War and Peace and Brothers Karamazov, In Search of Lost Time, or one of 3 books I'll speak of in this video. They are my personal Everests. Only 2 of them I've read a couple of times. But for these books it means completely nothing. I've discussed them with professors from university where I studied history and philosophy, and they as one told me that I need to read them at least 10 times to be close to understanding all the means and layers that authors put in them. Hi, I'm Mike Tulpakov, and I will help you to discover great literature and to start reading books productively and consciously. In this video, I want to share with you my personal experience with 3 of most challenging and rewarding books in my literature world: Ulysses by James Joyce, Gravity's Rainbow by Thomas Pynchon, and Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. They are incredibly complex, dense and challenging, but also deeply rewarding for those who take on the challenge. Book number 1, Ulysses by James Joyce. This book is considered one of the most challenging works in the English language, and for good reason. It follows the lives of Leopold Bloom and Stephen Dedalus over the course of a single day in Dublin, Ireland. Joyce's use of stream of consciousness writing, multiple narrators, and dense allusions to literature, mythology, and history make this book a formidable challenge. But for those who take on the challenge, Ulysses is a deeply rewarding exploration of the human experience and the nature of consciousness. One of the things that struck me the most about Ulysses was Joyce's ability to capture the essence of Dublin and its people, made it in very new for world literature modernist style. He paints a vivid picture of the city and its inhabitants, from the bustling streets to the quiet alleys, and from the ordinary people to the larger-than-life characters. Joyce's use of language is also masterful, and his ability to convey the thoughts and emotions of his characters is unparalleled. Reading Ulysses was a transformative experience for me, and it helped me to see the world in a different way. My English is not so good to read it in original English language, so I read it in translation. It is translated to Russian by a special man named Sergei Kharuzhy, who was not a writer or translator. More than that, he was a doctor of physical sciences, but he loved Joyce's work and took the unbearable challenge to translate it in the only way it could be translated. I compared the most difficult parts of the original and translated version, and I can say that it could not be better. Book number 2, Gravity's Rainbow by Thomas Pynchon. This book is a postmodern masterpiece. It follows the adventures of a diverse cast of characters during World War II and explores themes such as power, technology, and human nature. One of the things that I found most fascinating about Gravity's Rainbow was Pynchon's ability to weave together disparate threads into a whole one. The book is a complex tapestry of plot lines and characters, and it takes time to fully appreciate the intricacy of Pynchon's storytelling. But for those who are willing to put in the effort, Gravity's Rainbow is a book that will stay with you for long after you finish reading it. It's a book that challenges your assumptions and expands your understanding of the world. And to be honest, I have not finished it. Its translation to Russian is awful, so maybe one day, when I'll be adult and smarter, I will read it with this book. It's Gravity Rainbow Reader's Companion. Without it, there is no means to read it at all. Pynchon postmodernist game is too complicated. Book number 3, Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. This book is a sprawling epic that explores themes such as addiction, entertainment, and the nature of human connection. Wallace's use of footnotes, multiple narrators, and complex interweaving plots make it a formidable challenge. Maybe the greatest one of these 3 books. But for those who take on the challenge, Infinite Jest is a deeply rewarding exploration of the human experience. One of the things that struck me the most about Infinite Jest was Wallace's ability to capture the absurdity of modern life. And the book is a theoretical take on contemporary society, and it skewers everything from addiction to celebrity culture to academic pretension. But at its core, Infinite Jest is a deeply human book that explores the nature of love, friendship, and the search of meaning in a world that often seems meaningless. One thing I love Infinite Jest most of these three books is hyper-realistic style of incipient metamodernism. In the surrealistic and absurd reality of the book, you find places where author so sincere and open to the reader that you just can't avoid goosebumps and tears. One of the most wonderful books I've ever read. So, there you have it, my three Everests in literature: Ulysses by James Joyce, Gravity Rainbow by Thomas Pynchon, and Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. As I have said, Infinite Jest is not only my favorite book of these three books, it's one of my favorite books at all. These books are incredibly challenging, but they are also deeply rewarding for those who take on the challenge and don't fear the volume of the books. Of course, the main point is not in the volume of the books, but in the way these books were written, in a very demanding to a reader way. These are books that will stay with you for long after you finish them, and they will change the way you see the world. If you are ready to discover the borders, the limits of current literature achievements of the world, these books are for you. So don't be afraid to give it a try. Thanks for watching, see you soon.